Good morning, boys and girls. Stand up and sing. Miss Kelsey and I are going to bring to you the song, He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. 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 He's got my brothers and my sisters in His hands. He's got my brothers and my sisters in His hands. He's got my brothers and my sisters in His hands. He's got the whole world in His hands. He's got my mom and my dad in His hands. He's got my mom and my dad in His hands. He's got my mom and my dad in His hands. He's got the whole world in His hands. He's got my Hillcrest friends in His hands. He's got my Hillcrest friends in His hands. He's got my Hillcrest friends in His hands. He's got the whole world in His hands. Thanks for singing, boys and girls. Good morning, boys and girls. Thank you for singing with me because God really does have the whole world in His hands. And today we're going to dive in to Roanoke Jones, Ace Detective, and I'm your lead detective, Stro, here. And I'm just amazed that when I pour into scriptures, I can think like a detective and deduce, those are some of my fancy words today that you need to try, to find out that Bible times are filled with mysteries and miracles, and they're fascinating to study. But before we get into that today, you need to be a really good detective and figure out a way that you can celebrate something today. In case no one told you yet this morning, it's Mother's Day, and it's not too late to be a blessing. So if we had been together for Sunday school, we would have helped you, both in preschool and in elementary. We make something lovely that you get to bring home for those moms, and it's not too late. So I really want you to think hard this morning. What is something you can do to love on your moms today for Mother's Day? And at the end of our lesson, we're going to learn that we need to be helpful to others so that we're not too important. That's the whole Bible point. So hopefully that'll help you come up with a great idea. But I'm going to start with my dun-dun-dun mystery question. And remember, I'm going to do my very best to give you about a 10-second countdown so that you can answer in the comment box what you think the answer is. So I hope you have on your detective hats, your bing, and you can figure this one out for me. What invention lets you look right through the wall? I hope I have some very clever answers. A window! Wah, wah, wah. That's the best invention, right? So we're going to learn today that our main point is I am not too important to help others. Now we really need to say that again because we need to get it in our brains. I am not too important to help others. Did you try it with actions? Because that helps our brain learn it. Now you might say to me, what if I become really rich? Nope, you're not too important. What if I grow up to own my own business? Nope, you're not too important. What if I become the President of the United States? Nope, you're not too important. In fact, leading the country is helping people. So say with me, I am not too important to help others. And that's exactly where the Bible is going to take us today, to a fascinating story that you will find in 2 Kings chapter 6. So I hope you have your Bibles. Maybe text me a picture in the comment box of what your favorite Bible looks like. We're going to see that God's messengers were not too important to help others. And we're going to talk about the prophet Elisha. And I want to make sure you're hearing my SH. Elisha is the prophet we're studying today. I don't want to get anyone confused. So we're going to dive right into the Old Testament and see what happens in this mystery and all of our clues today. Here we begin. Once, back in the Old Testament of the Bible, there was a prophet named Elisha who was working with a group of other prophets. Now, one detail that is crucial to this case is that Elisha was no ordinary prophet. He was the most important in all of the land. In fact, Elisha was the leader and teacher of all the other prophets that he was working with. Now in this story, we find Elisha and the other prophets down by the Jordan River where they were building a new, larger meeting place. Now you may wonder why the most important prophet in the land would be involved in such a simple building project. But if you knew Elisha, you would know that he was humble and a helpful person. Even though Elisha was important, he wasn't too important to spend time helping the other prophets. Well, in order to build this meeting place, the prophet had to cut down trees to use as lumber. And it was while they were doing this that the case of the floating axe head was opened. Dun, dun, dun! It all started when one of the prophets was swinging his axe at a tree. And the head of the axe came off and flew into the Jordan River. Now, as detectives, you might be thinking, what's so bad about an axe head falling into a river? Just go find it, or buy a new axe. And normally those would be good ideas. But here are a couple of pieces of information for you that will show you that it's not that simple in an open and shut case. Item number 1, the Jordan River. The water of the river was very muddy and hard to see through, and it was next to impossible to see the bottom. Item number 2, the axe. But when this story took place, you couldn't buy an axe just anywhere. Tools like that were handmade and very expensive to replace. So that's why this case was opened. The axe head fell into the water and sank to the bottom, and now it was lost, and that was very bad. But there's one more detail that makes the circumstance in this case even worse. The prophet who lost the axe head said to Elisha,
"Oh, sir, it was a borrowed axe."
Uh-oh, now things have gone from bad to worse. The prophet borrowed an axe for his project, and now the axe without its axe head was worthless. This prophet would have to pay for the axe. Since the axe head was so expensive, he would either have to go to work for whomever he borrowed it from or sell off his own belongings to try and pay for it. Either way, this was not a good situation for this young prophet. Now, when he cried out to Elisha, Elisha could have responded in a lot of different ways. He could have told the young prophet that he better jump into the river and start looking. He could have told the prophet that he should have been more careful. He could have even laughed at the young prophet. But Elisha didn't say any of those things. Instead, Elisha asked the prophet,
"Where did it fall?"
And with those few words, the young prophet knew that Elisha was on the case, and he was going to help him out. Now remember, Elisha was the most important prophet in all of the land. But even though he was very important, he didn't think he was too important to help this man out. So the prophet showed Elisha the spot where the axe had fallen in. But Elisha didn't jump into the river and start looking. Instead, he did something kind of strange. He cut a stick and he threw it into the water and landed in the spot where the axe had fallen in. But that's where this case blew wide open. A miracle happened. Ah. The axe head came up to the top of the surface and began floating to where it could be seen. God had performed a miracle through Elisha by making the heavy iron axe head float. Well, immediately, Elisha said to the young prophet,
"Go in and grab it."
The young prophet did exactly what Elisha said. He reached out and picked up the axe head. He would now be able to continue the work, and when he was done, he could return the axe to the person that he had borrowed it from. And with that, this case was closed. Elisha was a very important prophet, and a missing axe head wasn't normally the kind of small issue prophets dealt with. Elijah could have used it as an excuse not to help the man, but he had the right attitude. He knew that he was not too important to help, and the task was not too small with him. We need to have the exact same attitude whenever we encounter people. And I have a Bible verse that will help us remember. In Galatians 6:3, it says, if you think you are too important to help someone, you are only fooling yourself. You are not that important. Oh, boys and girls. That makes me chuckle because it is pretty point blank. You are not that important. I hear a little sass in the scriptures when we read Galatians. It reminds me of the Good Samaritan. It reminds me of the 10 Commandments. It reminds me of even the questions we asked last week. When someone offers help, you're to take it. And now this one's telling us, if someone needs your help, give it. That's how the world goes round. And God is saying to us in this scripture that we are not to be prideful, that we are to have a humble spirit. We are not to think so high of ourselves that we can't offer help to somebody else. I love it. So when you say this Bible verse and you memorize it, I'm expecting a little sass. I'm expecting a little head nod. And I want to hear from you the scripture verse. So I'm going to remind all of my families that are watching again, there are some really fun ways that you can communicate back to me. I've had about a handful of friends, and I have many more watching. But scripture memory is super important. Memorizing as a family can be very fun and very influential. And even reading this together so that when something comes this week, you can all have an aha moment. So I pray that when we learn these Bible points and these Bible verses, I literally pray that something happens to you, that you will see how God is moving in the big and the small. Which means I'm praying right now, this week, that every one of you will be encountered by someone who needs your help. If somebody drops something or a paper is floating away in the wind and you're closest to it, or you've got bigger running feet than the person who dropped it, go get the paper. There are many opportunities where you can be helpful and not think so highly of ourselves. And especially today on Mother's Day. What an opportunity. Give her breakfast in bed. Let her take a rest. Give her a foot massage with lotion. Help make dinner. Go remind your dad that it's Mother's Day. Those are all very helpful and needed, right? So I hope you do something this week that's going to be helpful. And respond back to me because I want to hear about those. You can do a Marco Polo video. It's very easy. If you don't know how to connect with that, give me a call. I'll help you. You can send me a messenger. My phone number is in the church directory, my email, whatever you want to do. But let these boys and girls communicate back to me how you are learning through our ACE Detective series, because I hope you have an opportunity to do that. So we're going to have some fun review questions. And remember, when we do this, there are hidden message clues that we are going to be able to deduce what is coming next. Ready? So question number 1. When will we ever become too important to help others? A, we will be too important to help others when we become the boss of a huge company. B, we will be too important if we become really rich. C, we are never too important to help others. Or D, we'll be too important when we become president. Well, I gave you all of those examples, and we know that we are never too important to help others. Here comes clue number 1. Any guesses? Number 2. Number 3. Cement block. Would not have guessed that. Did you, boys and girls? Question number 2. Imagine that you were just named the captain of your soccer team after practice. A new kid on the team asks you to help him with his kicking. What should you do? A, help your teammate with his kicking. B, tell them that you are the captain and you can't waste your time on helping him. C, order someone else on the team to help him. D, let him figure out how to kick on his own. Well, boys and girls, we are all being taught by somebody when we learn new things in our lives. So someone took the time to help you and this kiddo get to being so good at soccer that he got to be the captain. So clearly, we are to help our teammates with their kicking. We are not too important to help. Clue number 1. Clue number 2. And clue number 3. Any guesses? Ooh, I'm going to call those spy goggles because they definitely don't look like ones I'm going to swim in the pool with. Question number 3. Imagine you were at home playing your favorite video game. Your little sister comes up to you and asks if you can help her tie her shoes. What should you do? Boys and girls, I just talked about the importance of if someone's going to offer to help you tie your shoes, and here we're doing the opposite approach. Someone needs their help. Someone taught you to tie your shoes. So you need to pause your game and help your little sister tie her shoes. Everyone at home say, okay, I'll help. 1, 2. Ooh, this is tricky. Ooh, it's an old rusted lock. In our Bible story today, a young prophet lost an axe head and couldn't find it. He then went to the leader of the prophet, Elisha, for help. What did Elisha do? I hope we all know that he helped the prophet by performing a miracle. That is an amazing thing, isn't it? And the axe head floated. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. It's an old notebook. And we're going to get to our Bible verse. If you think you are too important to help someone, you are only fooling yourself. You are not that important. Galatians 6:3. Number 1. Number 2. Oh, footprints. Those are the best. Boys and girls, I hope you take this time.
Remember to keep your eyes open and your wits sharp.
I hope that there will be an opportunity this week that you will remember that you're not too important to help others. And I hope that you just join the cause, find a way. Know that God is giving you an opportunity to learn from today's lesson and do it. And I'd love to hear back from every one of you how God opened up that door for you to be helpful to somebody else. And remember, somebody taught you to do those things, and it might be your job to teach your little sister how to tie their shoes or make a basket in the basketball hoop. It'd be great. Sometimes it's even with electronics. I tell my kids they have to help me with my phone sometimes because I taught them how to use a spoon. So be helpful, even if it's to your parents, and make your mother have a wonderful Mother's Day. And my prayer is that you all have a chance to be helpful. I love you, boys and girls. God bless.